Well, we've made it through the course of the term, or I should say, you've made it through the course of the term. We're here at the just coming into finals week. I just want to take a few minutes and just kind of recap a couple things, and then provide a perspective about the final exam itself. First of all, I want to say thank you for all of your dedication and your hard work throughout the course of the term. We went through a lot of content. If you kind of think back over the last 9, 10 weeks, starting off with just sort of the foundation of what is sociology, how do we think about sociology, the value and the importance of it, and then walking through just basically a lot of different areas that sociology is applied to. I think especially the last 4 or 5 weeks, thinking about stratification, social stratification, global stratification, race, gender, politics, and the economy. So, it's kind of interesting to think about, any field is like this. The first part of a term is often like core conceptual theoretical ideas. In this class, we have three main theories: functionalism, conflict theory, and interactionism. And then we take these ideas, these foundational theoretical perspectives, and then the perspective of sociology. Once we get grounded in that, then we start moving into the application into different areas. So hopefully you found, well, first of all, I guess to reiterate it one more time, it took a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of dedication on your part, especially in an online class, to work through a lot of content, reading the chapters, watching the films, reading the supplemental articles that I posted to help kind of just reinforce what you're learning in the textbook and also provide different examples and illustrations. And I think that's really important to do in any class, but particularly in an online class because we don't have the opportunity to be in class together. So those videos became really important as a way of doing that. So thanks for your dedication. And then, let's kind of talk about a little bit about sociology of empathy. One of the themes throughout the course of the term was sociology of empathy. We started way back in week 1, kind of defining what sociology of empathy is. And we differentiated between an affective empathy and cognitive empathy. So the affective is more of that emotional kind of response, like feeling like, somebody else, to be able to not only put yourself in someone else's shoes, but also experience emotionally what a person may have been going through. That's not kind of the empathy that we focused on here is more of a cognitive empathy. It's about trying to understand based on analysis, information, perspective sharing. So I would argue that in some ways the affective empathy actually gets in the way of really trying to understand. It's a really radical idea. You stop and think about it, because if we are to be empathetic towards others, towards ourselves, I think that's important too. We are forced to challenge a lot of things that are going on in society that are dehumanizing and very limiting towards particular individuals or particular groups of individuals. So, for example, if we want to look at racial inequality and look at the experience of whites, look at the experience of people of color in different communities, that to really understand, human behavior, we have to understand data, perspective sharing, trying to understand how people are kind of influenced by those social and cultural forces. That takes a lot of analytical work to make that happen. And I would argue that the more that we understand, we're in a position, if we understand, that we have to start to challenge and change social and cultural patterns and ideas to get towards more that democratic ideal of equality of opportunity, of treating others with dignity and respect. So it's really a radical concept and idea. Empathy oftentimes seems like a real fluffy kind of a nice kind of component sort of thing to do, to empathize with another person. And that's definitely all good. The second component of that is it moves us towards action. And I think that's an important part. So regardless of what field you go into, I know this is a required class or one of the required classes for you for a distribution, the distribution list for the AAOT or for another course. I think hopefully this class has provided valuable and informative perspectives that you can carry with you wherever you go. So regardless of what area of work that you're into, that you can now take this sociological imagination and be able to understand and think about the world in a different way, and hopefully help to understand your own lived experience, within the family you grew up in, the community you grew up in, the time period you grew up in, all those powerful shapers of culture on our own identities and our own experience. So I think in a lot of ways, this class in sociology in general helps to capture that idea that C. Wright Mills talked about the personal biology and history kind of being interrelated. And the more that we understand history, the better understanding we have of ourselves. So it humanizes ourselves and it humanizes others. So I just want to kind of recap that idea. It's kind of a central core theme. We'll talk about that in the final exam. The final exam, I'll provide a list of different questions for you to respond to at the final exam. And it's kind of broken down in a few different components. Part of it is kind of theory, part of it's concepts, and then some of it's kind of providing me some feedback for the class. I've taught online before, but it's been a little while since I've taught online. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do this work of online to do it most effectively, and I need your feedback. So I'm going to put some classes out or some questions out there, and really appreciate your honest feedback with me. The more information that I have, the better job I can do to create a more effective online learning environment. Overall, there were so many great things. I mean, I told so many people throughout the course of the term that I was deeply impressed by the work that was being done by students in the class, and really just amazed by the amount of dedication and the amount of hard work that was put into the course. The one concern I do have is the number of individuals. Probably lost a third of the students, dropped out of the class, and I think in talking to some different colleagues that there is a higher dropout rate in an online class. So I'm trying to figure out if I can do something before the start of the term, maybe the first week of the term, so that people can assess a little bit better for themselves whether or not the class is really a good fit for them right now, with the kind of content that's required and the kind of work required for the course. So do me a favor, I'm going to put those questions out there about providing me feedback for this particular class, an online class. I know if you complete the student evaluation, that's great. Appreciate that as well, the one that's online. But this one is more detailed and more specific questions from me that will help guide me for the class in the future. One thing I'm sad about is I didn't get a chance to actually meet you. One of the things I enjoy about teaching face-to-face classes is the opportunity to meet and work with students. So I appreciate the opportunity to work with you throughout the course of the term. Hopefully you found the audio comments kind of useful and beneficial as a way for me to try to connect with you, just to have a voice, so it wasn't only written text. That was kind of one of the goals of that. Just trying to bridge some of that gap and make it more of a personal connection. So I try to think about different ways of facilitating that in the future as well. Perhaps having students make videos and sending them to me. I don't know, thinking about different options there. So in sum, great job throughout the course of the term. Look forward to your final exams. Thanks again for all you did throughout the course of the term. Have a great spring, great summer, have a great life, and I wish you all well with whatever you decide to do. And have yourself a great day. This is Tom signing off. Last video of the term. Be well.